Hey guys, I'm just on my lunch break here. Just wanted to give you a few words in regards to the coronavirus and everything we're going through. Um, I was reading the book of Philippians recently, and the Apostle Paul he had a situation that resembles ours in a different way, but I believe we can relate in that he was in an excruciating situation. When he wrote the book of Philippians, he was imprisoned. He he had a dear friend, Epaphroditus, who was sick almost to the point of death, and the Apostle Paul went as far as to say that God had mercy on him when Epaphroditus got healed, because that would have been sorrow upon sorrow for Paul. So here he is in prison, and in that context, he's telling us, one, he tells us, I've learned the secret of being content in any situation. And then another thing he says in Philippians 4:8, he says to focus on whatever's true, whatever is noble, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is of good report, whatever is virtue. And he says to meditate on these things. As we hear daily different bad reports, it could become a roller coaster. I know it is for me. It just seems like things continually get worse, and the conspiracies get bigger, and um, the sickness, the death, it's really close to home for all of us. Um, and the Apostle Paul, he's not saying to put your head in the sand and pretend everything's okay. Um, he addresses what's going on. He speaks directly to the situation, um, but he's talking about what are we meditating on. And I recently read a newsletter that was put out by our Foursquare president. Put a newsletter, and he didn't write the newsletter, but he forwarded it to us. And one thing that I really took from that article is the importance of what your source is right now. So as far as what we're meditating on and what we're focusing on in this day and age with social media and just so many different outlets, I really believe it's really important for us to watch sourcing. I know for me, when this first started, it was easy to kind of almost dismiss it, like maybe it's political, maybe it's not as bad as they're making it out to be. But I know for me, my stepmom, she's been a nurse, and she said, no, people do need to be careful. They need to wash hands. This is killing old people and the young, and we need to be considerate. So that's what I mean. It's, look to people that are in the medical profession. Look to people that are good sources. Don't just believe everything, because you're going to hear just so many different things, and some of it's true, some of it's untrue. But don't meditate on those things. Meditate on what is true, what is noble, what is pure, what is lovely, what is of good report, what is a virtue. Meditate on those things. That's what I really believe the Lord's saying right now. And the other thing was, Jules recently did a Facebook Live, and she was talking about that, not that she struggles with it, but that she knows that there's others that struggle with addiction, and whether that's drugs, whether that's alcohol, pornography, anything that people are addicted to now, can be a very hard time when people are isolated, when they're alone, when they don't have as many outlets to reach out. So that's another area we can focus on. Is we can all be a phone call away for people that are dealing with addictions, or we can reach out to others if we're dealing with addictions, because for some people they have more time on their hands. For others of us in the food industry, we have more crazy busyness while we're at work than normal. Um, so be available. I have somebody I like to watch who was a YouTube sensation. He was a power lifter and really into sports, and he really likes to talk about like just specifically sports, just for men. And one thing that he said was that right now alcohol's on sale and pornography's on sale, and that's targeted at people that are in isolation and they're being opportunistic. So and that falls right in line with that word of focusing on what is true, what is noble, just, pure, lovely, good report, virtue. Meditate on these things. Since we have more time for isolation now, more than ever, it's more important than ever to focus our minds, decide where we're going to put our energy, because there's going to be a lot of bad news, there's going to be a lot of hardship, but we can't let that be our main focus. And like I said, don't think that this means put your head in the sand. This doesn't mean that you don't process, you don't grieve at times. Doesn't mean you're not sad. Doesn't mean you're angry. I know this hasn't been handled perfectly internationally. We haven't handled it perfectly as Americans. Maybe you haven't handled it perfectly. I know I haven't. That doesn't mean that that's not true and we don't process those things. We need to process all that. And those are real things, but at the same time, be very picky. Where's my energy going? What am I focused on? What am I meditating on? And am I getting sidetracked? Am I more focused on the negative reports? Try to look for the silver linings, and it's going to be a time when we can be creative, and there could be new ministries coming out of this, new friendships, new ways to help. All of a sudden toilet paper is a ministry, water is a ministry. These are things that people need. So anyways, I gotta get back to work. That's something that's been on my heart all week. So all right, peace.